The monster I befriended was murdered by something holy. The hours of daylight were a useless grey smear I had to endure. I paced the confines of my small cabin, the floorboards groaning under the weight of my impatience. Every tick of the clock was a tiny hammer against my skull. I just wanted the sun to die so I could see him again. I'd thought about calling my parents, just over in the next copse of trees, but what would I say? That my feet still ached from running from a monster one night, and now my heart ached from wanting to run to him the next. They wouldn't get it. They'd just hear the words 30-foot creature and tell me to bolt the door for good. Their fear is a wall I can't break down. So I waited alone. Finally, the sun bled out on the horizon, and the world outside my window turned a deep, bruised purple. The forest began to breathe. I felt it on my skin, that familiar electric tension as the things of the night started to stir. A different kind of birdsong started up, a dissonant chorus of clicks and whistles that always set my teeth on edge. This was it. Tonight, I wouldn't be an observer. I would be a friend. I pulled the heavy cabin door shut behind me, the deadbolt sinking home with a solid chunk. I never used to lock it, but things are different now. After what I saw last night, I know my friend isn't the only giant moving through these woods, and I have a feeling the others aren't nearly so lonely. The path was a ribbon of faint moonlight through the trees. I walked slowly, deliberately, listening. It didn't take long. A low rumble vibrated up through the soles of my boots. The same sound from before, the one that meant he was near. A smile touched my lips. I didn't run this time. I slowed my pace even more, not wanting to spook him. But as I got closer, the sound changed. It was still a deep rumble, but it was fractured now, broken. There was a wet, tearing quality to it, a grinding shudder that wasn't the sound of movement. It was the sound of something immense trying to scream through a throat full of broken glass. My smile vanished. That wasn't the sound of walking. It was the sound of pain. I broke into a run, branches whipping at my face. The noise grew into a horrible, guttural symphony of agony. I burst through a thicket of ferns and froze. It was a fallen mountain. A collapsed hill of shadow and torn hide blocking the entire path. His body, once so impossibly tall, was now just a ruin on the forest floor. A black, viscous fluid that had to be his blood pooled around him, so vast it looked like a small lake, steaming in the cool night air. Deep, obscene canyons were carved into his flesh, gouges so wide I could have laid down inside them. I stumbled forward, the coppery scent of his life hitting the back of my throat, making me gag. He was still breathing. Each shuddering inhale was a wet rattle, his massive flank deflating like a punctured lung. The perpetual sadness in his eyes was still there, but now it was glazed with a film of shock. My mind raced, tried to think of something, anything I could do. A bandage? Help? It was laughable. What could I do against a wound the size of my entire body? All I could do was creep closer, my hand trembling as I reached out and pressed my palm against his skin. It felt like rough, cooling leather. I felt the last, weak tremor of his life move through him. His enormous head turned, a slow, creaking motion that seemed to take all of his remaining strength. His eyes, vast and dark, found mine. And then, for the first and only time, the mask of sorrow cracked. The corner of his lipless mouth pulled upward in the faintest of smiles. It wasn't a smile of happiness. It was a smile of release. A final ragged breath escaped him, and the mountain fell still. A sob tore itself from my chest, raw and ugly. I fell to my knees in the dirt, the sound echoing in the sudden, deafening silence. Who could have done this? What could have done this? As my weeping subsided, a flicker of movement in the branches above caught my eye. Something small and pale was drifting down, spiraling lazily through the air. A single perfect feather, white as bone. It floated down and came to rest on the creature's dark, blood-soaked hide, a stark, impossible stain of purity on a canvas of death. I stared at it, the white so clean it almost hurt to look at, the rustling in the trees, the impossible wounds, the feather. And in the cold, quiet darkness of the woods, I understood. The curse of the angels.